Where do you find God? Almost sounds like a loaded question, doesn't it? I mean, if God was someone you could find, wouldn't everyone be out searching? Well, rather than looking for something elusive, like a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, I reckon it's more about learning to recognise the way God is already present to us in our everyday lives. I'm Lizzie Oakes, and this is Where Do You Find God? My guest today is Naomi Cowan. Naomi is a mental health advocate, and she is the CEO of Equip Mental Services. I've previously spoken to Naomi in great lengths about a journey she has been through as a lung transplant survivor on my TV show, Finding the Light, which is still available on Shine TV. Naomi, good to catch up with you again.
You too, Lizzie. Good to see you.
How are you these days? Like, how's things with your health? I know it's an ongoing situation for you.
No, it's good. It's good. I do have ongoing challenges, but overall, I did have a hospital admission during the year, so that was a bit of a setback, but onwards and upwards at the moment.
Yeah, that's good. Naomi, in Acts chapter 17, verse 27, it says, God intended that they would seek him and perhaps reach out for him and find him, though he is not far from each one of us. So my question for you today is, Naomi, where do you find God?
If you'd asked me this, 5 years ago, I probably would have answered it differently. I've kind of moved from reaching out to find God to acknowledging he's already there within me. So through this whole health journey, crisis, if you like, that has been a new, I always knew it, but I didn't know it. You know what I mean? Yes. I knew it in my head, but didn't know it in my heart. But also I find God a lot, to be honest, in other people. Whether they're signed up Christians or not, I choose to see God in them. And I'm hoping they see God in me. Yeah, that's the short answer.
Yeah. Tell me more about choosing to see God in people, because yes, and I feel like you and I have talked about this a little bit before. Maybe we even did on the TV show, that we're all made in the image of God, right? Regardless of whether we know God or not. So you tell me about choosing to see God in people.
Well, for example, I was going through a bit of a patch where the mood had dipped. I had quite a bit of physical pain due to osteoporosis, which I'd got from the drugs. And so basically exercise was a problem, but I needed to. So I ended up going to the local community pool. Didn't know anybody, I just went. And I went really early in the morning to avoid germs, Anyway, over time, there were a number of people that would just started being friendly to me, and they weren't really English-speaking people. And one in particular would wave furiously at me every morning, Mr. Lee, and would jump out of the pool and give me a fist pump. And it felt to me like God was saying, I'm here. I see you. I see what effort it's taking for you to get here, and I'm here with you. And that might sound strange to people, but more and more I made other friends there, and we don't even talk that much. There's just a connection. And then another time I was struggling with something at an airport, and one of the staff came up and helped me. And I don't know, I just felt like God was saying, I see you, I'm helping you through this person. So when we're talking about seeing God in people, one example would be my young chemist. So I go there a lot because I need a lot of medication and it regularly. And he would always go out of his way because some of it's stuff that has to get special permission and to come in, and sometimes it's not in stock and all of this. And he always went out of his way. And then I heard one day that he was moving on to somewhere else. And I thought, I must go in and just, thank him again. And I go in just to thank him. And I got caught by surprise by this emotion, because I looked at him and I thought, I think you've been God to me. You've gone out of your way and you've taken care of me. And when I looked at him, this must have come through in my face, because I just said, thank you so much, because you've gone out of your way for me. And he burst into tears. This is a bloke. And he said, I don't understand why I'm feeling so emotional.
Oh.
And I said, well, I don't know about you, but I just, you've kind of saved my life. So I want you to know how important your role is. And I don't know what that did for him, but for me, it felt like a God moment.
A beautiful moment of human and probably divine connection.
You want to get even stranger, I see him in animals too.
I don't think that's strange. Tell me about that.
Well, like dogs in particular, right? They just love you.
They do.
And they don't make any demands and they don't judge you. And I think it's a mirror image of how God loves us. And sometimes I look into my pets and I just say, God, I see you. I see you. I see you in them. Thank you. And I take comfort from it. Because sometimes it's hard to see what's inside of you, and it's quite helpful to see it expressed somewhere else. And I guess what I'm trying to say is I see God expressed in other people and in animals.
Yeah.
And obviously in nature and things like that. But that's been the big eye-opener for me.
Yeah. And so that sort of way of seeing God and his creation through people you don't know, or maybe you do know, through animals. Largely don't. That's since your diagnosis and well, since you had your lung transplant, is that what you're saying? Since your life has changed?
Well, it's since the journey of realising, and it's probably a life journey for all of us, that you cannot control everything. And I think we get these invitations from God in moments of crisis to let go and to trust. And it's a choice. You don't have to. You can try and control it. I chose to let go and not sort of get all bitter about it or fight it. Just go with it. It's almost like getting into a flowing stream and just lying back and seeing where it takes you. And in that, I really have found God in a much more personal way.
And the letting go, is that like a one and done, or is it something you have to continually do?
Oh, continually. So like, I got the husband, I got the job, I got the house, all of that. Now what? Who am I? Who am I? Who did God make me to be? And part of letting go for me is the whole thing of letting the ego go. So not needing to be right about things, not needing to be seen, not needing to be acknowledged. And it's very freeing, actually.
Totally.
And the more you can do that, I think the more you do experience intimacy with God. And it doesn't mean you become nothing. It just means that stuff doesn't matter to you. You don't have to be up there. And you don't need to achieve. And so that whole dying to being important, dying to be significant, dying to be right, letting that go is extremely freeing. And that's where I feel like my eyes have been opened more to God and his work within me and around me.
That's so beautiful. Naomi, thank you for joining me today on Where Do You Find God?
You're welcome.
If you'd like to listen again, tune in to Sanctuary on Wednesdays at 1:30 p.m. or listen and subscribe via your favourite podcast app and give us a review so other people can find us.